Hey everybody, welcome to the Player's Take. I'm your host Justin DeSimone, joined by my two co-hosts, a man, part of the Sekiro boys, the Sekiro gatekeepers,
Squad.
Sekiro squad. No, I'm calling you the Sekiro boys. And then also a woman who is banned from dating.
Well, how unfortunate that is.
I mean, your words, not mine.
Yes.
I mean, are you satisfied? I came up with individual nicknames this week. You know.
Yes. I feel like a lot of thought was put into it.
Give me like a 2-week cooldown, all right? And maybe next week you'll have. We'll see. It depends. Usually what happens is I'll be seeing you guys on Twitter doing stuff, and then I'll come up with nicknames based off that usually. And I can really only do that with you, TR, because I don't know you in real life, so like we've not met, so and I don't interact with you, outside of Twitter really in this show. Obviously.
To you, she's an e-girl. Woo!
Oh my god! And then Montrell, there's way too much of Montrell in my life, so it's like it can come from anywhere usually, but this particular week. He was busy gatekeeping on Twitter, so
I was not gatekeeping on Twitter. Actually, I was. But
you and the
funny.
Sekiro boys, you, Blucci, and what the dude's name's Jared.
Yeah, Majin Buu. That's his ad.
Majin Buu. Yeah, you guys are the Sekiro boys. You three. So, so I want to talk about something before we get into the video games. And I want to talk about something very, very important. The WAP song that has taken the nation by storm, and I specifically want to talk about.
Excuse me, my good sir. It is the WAP song.
The WAP song. Okay, got it.
WAP.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a white guy. I haven't even listened to the song. All I've seen are the clips that are out there, that have come across my timeline. But the specific part I want to talk about, I don't really care about the song. I want to talk about Ben Shapiro's comments about the song, and then his discussion about his wife, specifically that. All these women out there that have WAP are, they have medical issues, apparently, according to him. His wife, when they're doing it, man, completely dry, apparently. And he thinks that's the way it should work. So,
all right.
Oh, well, if it's a medical problem, it's a medical problem I love to have.
Wait, you want to be dry or you want to be WAP?
What did you listen to what he just said?
Yeah,
he just said that Ben Shapiro said that if you got WAP, he thinks it's a medical illness.
All right. I mean, I expressed my discomfort with or disgust with him.
Ben Shapiro? Yeah, go for it.
Yesterday, but I don't know, man. Doesn't he seem first like why would you say that on the internet? Like You admitted that you do not get your wife aroused.
It is the funniest self-own I've ever seen. And this dude, I mean, he's not going to be fazed by it, obviously, because he's got no self-awareness. But, I mean, I'm going to be honest, though. Ben Shapiro is our fault. Like, he is what you get when you empower nerds. Because he is legitimately the nerdiest motherfucker imaginable. Like, he's that nerd that we all knew in high school who was like belligerently self-righteous about everything. They thought they knew everything about everything, and they weren't like embarrassed by anything they did, like they wore their nerd badge proudly on their chest, which is perfectly fine, but like they were like annoying, that annoying.
Just from his just from the way he talked about it and the way he read the script and everything.
Oh my God.
The way he talked about sexuality and women and all this stuff. This is what I predict. And it's maybe out of line. You can call me anything you want to. I think the man lasts like 2 minutes in bed with his wife. And I think she has like a whole fucking arsenal. Like, I got rifles, right? She has like a back room, like Batman. You press the button, right? And it opens. And then she goes down to a cave. And it's just nothing but dildos along the wall.
Yep.
She got dragon dildos. Yeah, she got dragon. She got BBC. She got the white ones. And
the
everything.
White ones.
Even she's got the micro ones too, dude.
The micro ones. She got the pocket rockets.
Yep, the little pocket rockets, right?
And it's just there, and she's like, "Which one I'm gonna do today? I'll do this one." So I hope she has like if they have children. Or if they did already have children, I hope she has a sexual conversation with them and not him. Because he's going to be like, son, you know what you got to do? Just go in there, Bop.
God.
And they're not supposed to get wet for you, son. They're not supposed to get. That's a medical condition. You might want to go check yourself out if you get a girl aroused. And they're gonna be like that, like.
I'm just thinking about the way he talked, Aiden. The way he read the script for the song, he was like, wet ass P word. You know, it's like, fucking bro, like you just what, like you can't say pussy, like come on, man. Like and he wouldn't say penis either. It was, and yet he's saying ass. He's saying ass the whole time. I'm like, what's the difference? Like
and penis is actually, the medical terminology.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a special character. Definitely. I never paid attention to him really. This is really like threw him in my line of sight. And I can understand why people hate this guy because he sounds like a fucking, oh my god. Yeah, he's that dude you play board games with that's like trying to rules lawyer every single move that you do, you know? Like he just doesn't shut up. Like he won't just play the fucking game, you know? He's that guy. That's what
I like the song, but now I'm tired of it. But not because of the song, but because everybody talking about it, and they're not talking
people
about
writing whole dissertations about the song.
And it's like dudes too. Like I don't understand. From my point of view, when you want a song like this, there are plenty of girls out there who's like, "Oh man, this song get me in the mood." As a dude, wouldn't you want that? Like, oh. She playing this song, I know it's about to go down tonight. But it's so many dudes like saying, well, if my daughter listened to this, like, bro, I'm pretty sure your daughter already listened to plenty of songs like this. And then there's other dudes saying women shouldn't be talking like this, but we got a whole bunch of rap songs about dudes talking about how big their dick is. Like, so it's like, I don't care.
Like every rap song.
Yes, every rap song. Like, I don't care. They can be talking about like civil rights. Oh yeah, I'm Martin Luther King. Dick's big as fuck. Like, it's like, bro, what? Come on, man. What are you talking about, bro?
I almost want to do a study on it. Can they go a minute without talking about how big their dick is? Like in any song? It's
crazy. So it's like,
yeah.
If women want to talk about they vagina, they pussy, whatever you fucking want to call it, whatever you want to call it, pussy, vagina,
wop.
Cooch, cooter,
yeah, right, yeah. Whatever it is,
snatch. Well, don't do it. I don't care. It's none of my business.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I'm glad we could cover that topic. It's really important for this show's demographic, I'm sure. And Ben Shapiro.
We just lost half our listeners.
Definitely,
right
I'm about to say I'm definitely interested that you brought it up, Justin. Normally that's a Montrell thing.
Whoa, what the fuck was that?
Very interesting that you brought that up.
Well, Tiara, you didn't tell us what you think of Ben Shapiro. Does he annoy you? Do you even?
I actually didn't even know who he was. I had to while you were all speaking. I was looking on Twitter to say who is he?
Yeah. Doesn't he just look like somebody who would?
Yeah, I mean he's a clown, obviously. If it's a medical condition, it's one I love to have.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an idiot. I can't believe he has a radio show. But
I can't believe he has a wife.
I know. So there are women for everyone out there.
Yes.
Take solace in that. If you're a lonely man out there, Ben Shapiro has a fucking wife.
Right. I'm about to say that's why you shouldn't be a rapist. There are plenty of women out there.
Right.
Someone out there for you.
I just can't believe his wife
can get one, then we all can.
Can't believe his wife doesn't get wet from him. Like how that sex?
And they're
must
like
be painful.
boasting about it. They're like boasting about it out there. Like that.
That sex must be painful as fuck.
I know.
Oh my god.
Like what?
That must be the most. No wonder why he's angry all the time. No wonder he's mad. That's why he's mad.
They probably don't have sex. That's probably like he doesn't even
that's
know.
Probably a thing.
Yeah. Like he probably doesn't even know what goes on down there. He's just fucking talking about what he thinks. So.
How do you have a kid then? Like
I don't know. He has a kid.
I thought they had a kid.
That's confirmed.
Maybe I don't know.
Breaking news: Ben Shapiro has a kid. I think he does. I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think even the kid was out there like defending him too. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a L for conservatives right now. But hey, it is what it is, man.
They don't think so. Nothing's, according to them, nothing's an L for conservatives.
But no, I can't even put down conservatives because there are some conservatives I look at. I'm like, oh yeah, he or she gets down. Like I can tell, right? But like him, I'm like, nah. It's not like that. Like I look at George Bush, I can tell in college he used to get it on. Like oh yeah, he used to get a lot of ass. Like I could tell. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely. George Bush is like he's got that personality. He definitely does. So all right. Enough for the nonsense. It's been like 10 minutes. I'm sure people have already tuned out. So this is, just to reassure you guys, this is a video game podcast, and it's one that posts every week.
We promise.
6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. I'm fucking myself up because we fucked around for so long. We also post on YouTube on Mondays, 6 a.m. Central Time as well. And I'm not going to forget it this week. Let's Plays, Brigandine, Legend of Runercia. My Let's Play series has been going live every other day on YouTube, so check that out as well. I think we're up to episode 7 went live today. So yeah, check that out as well. All right, let's get started like we always do with what we've been playing. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Go for it, Tiara.
Okay, so this week seems to have went longer than normal. I guess that's because I got my gameplay out early in the week.
Well, you platinumed Ghost of Tsushima, right?
Yes, I did. I platinumed Ghost of Tsushima. I was very diligent in playing the game.
Charles, go fuck yourself. Tiara, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did you see the picture he just put in the Discord? Montrell put the picture, the meme that's been going around of the Smithers with Ben Shapiro's face like over his face, and it's the one where Smithers is like crying as a woman's like grinding on him. And yeah, that epitomizes what I think Ben Shapiro's personality is, basically. So sorry, continue, Tiara.
Yes. So I was very diligent in playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I beat the game. And let me tell you, the ending of the game just made me cry. It was so good.
All right,
please don't stop there. Please don't spoil it.
That's all I was going to say.
What are your non-spoilerly thoughts on the game as a whole?
I liked it. It was cool.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to say anything about the ending except that
fair enough.
It
was that powerful though? Like that emotionally resonant?
It really was.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
It really was.
What about gameplay
though? You platinumed it, so you did like almost everything, right? You don't have to do everything for the platinum, but you have to do quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Did the game grate on you at all towards the end, or did it kind of like your enthusiasm was good the whole time, or?
Yeah, because when I had finished the game, I only had about 5 more trophies left to get.
Okay.
So, and they were like easy things.
Yeah.
And then there was like one of them where it was like you have to go pray at 10 hidden altars or whatever. Mm-hmm. That was a weird one.
Oh yeah, I saw that one on the list. I haven't gotten any of those, obviously.
But I did that after the game.
Yeah,
because once you
will too.
Yeah. Once you beat the game, it kind of has a way of allowing you to still like it's a reason why some of the areas are still not liberated if you have not liberated them already. Like mm-hmm. they're like oh well we beat the Khan, but there's still Mongol forces on the island. So mm-hmm. It's it makes sense as to why you're still liberating parts of the island. But me, I had liberated as that went along. So when I had beat the Khan, then all of the island was unlocked. And then when you want to liberate the island, any question marks pop up that you haven't already went to. So it kind of makes things easier.
Really? Oh man, that's kind mm-hmm. of a. I guess that's nice, but at the same time, it kind of annoys me because I've been really diligent.
Yeah.
So I got a question. If you finish the act before you do the side missions, does the side missions disappear on that old act or old island rather?
No, they
Okay.
stay there.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I would say you should do your companion missions right along as you're doing the story. You shouldn't wait to the end to do your companion.
Well, because it would be weird to do them after, like, even the Act 1 ones would be weird to do in Act 2.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like,
They don't make sense. They're meant for you to
yeah,
do
yeah,
as you go along.
right.
Yeah. So I would say it's not gonna be the same if you wait to the end to do your companion missions. But yeah, I beat it. I was happy. Put it behind me. I got back on to Pokemon Sword.
Okay.
So yeah, advanced Pokemon Sword. I'm trying to like get to the Pokemon League or whatever. I've been going back and forth with if I'm going to get the expansion pass or not. I guess it's going to depend upon like, you know, how I feel about the game at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say beat it first
because
it's a separate island. So
yeah, the expansion pass is like $40, I think.
I think it's 30.
30. Well, that's still a lot, honestly. That's like a whole nother game.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm not sure, but more than likely, I feel like I will get it because I actually really like Pokemon Sword. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we did too. I got my fill with the main game. I don't think I want to do the DLC, but
and yeah, but then I plan on getting back on Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
That is my goal. Call of Duty, and I also decided I'm going to get back on For Honor and Hitman.
Okay, it's a lot of games.
I know. I always get overly ambitious.
I'm kind of in the same boat. So, all right. Well, is that all you've been playing, or
that is all I have been playing?
All right, Montrell, what about you?
I'm still playing Ghost, and I am back on League of Legends heavily now, like full on.
Degeneracy mode activated.
So I'm gonna start streaming twice a week because I think I got my chops back. So
okay.
I'm on my way to platinum as we speak, but I am playing Ghost of Tsushima. I had to slow down on it.
Yeah.
And now I'm back on it again. I don't want to say I got bored with it. I just kind of burnt myself out the game. That's what it was. It's not boring at all. I just burnt myself out by playing it like 35 hours straight.
You talking about Ghost?
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm gonna hurry up and finish it so I can start playing other games I want to play. I gotta finish my backlog and stuff like that. I don't think I'm really gonna be playing any more games this year.
Like new games?
Yeah, I don't really think I'm gonna play any new games this year.
I mean, that's gonna be tough, but
I mean, because y'all probably both of y'all are gonna hate me, but I am just not really excited for Cyberpunk, and that's just my opinion on that. And that's all I gotta say.
First of all, time the fuck out. Time out.
Such a contrarian.
Time out, because first of all, Montrell, you're a hypocrite because, like the first or second episode of me doing this, you were definitely just as excited as we were for Cyberpunk. So now all of a sudden, you're not excited for Cyberpunk?
They released more gameplay footage,
and then you're not excited for Cyberpunk?
Yeah, they released more gameplay footage. I watched like the 45-minute stream. I wasn't really too impressed with it, and I don't know what build they were using or whatever. I don't know. It just when I saw it, I wasn't impressed by it. I'm like, all right, it looks pretty cool, but I guess. And then,
I guess you're just going to end up with egg on your face like Ghost of Tsushima.
And then
you say the same thing for Ghost of Tsushima?
And then, before I was rudely interrupted, and then they took away the wall running mechanic. So I'm like, all right, I guess that kind of kills my melee builds I'm going to do and be like, cool. So, and then I just keep reading, so they still tweaking the melee mechanics, and I don't know. The game looks cool, but it's just like, the more I watch it, the more I'm like, it looks like it's gonna be a really good game, but it's not gonna be for me, and that's just my opinion on it.
Okay, I'm gonna say something, because we're gonna talk about a game that got delayed later, but I don't know if Cyberpunk is coming out this year. I'm still skeptical about this. Like, I'm not sure it's going to come out this year because, I saw the same thing you were talking about them saying that melee, like, they're not happy with melee combat, and I'm like, dude, you guys, this game's coming out in 3 months. Like, you got to be printing discs at the end of October. Like, you're not happy with melee combat. Like, what are you even talking about at this point? Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm a little like I know they've been doing previews and shit, and like people have played preview builds, and they've been doing all this PR with like the Night City Wire streams and all this shit, and then like,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean they can't delay it again. Like, I know they're pumping a lot of marketing dollars out there right now, but I don't know, man. I don't know if it's gonna be ready. I don't know if it's gonna be ready for November, and like. I understand where you're coming from. The way they've been talking about the game definitely is making me be like, I don't know if this game's gonna come together the way we all expect it's going to. You know?
Yeah, and that's probably why I'm de-hyping myself, because I'm expecting it to be on a level of like I played the first Deus Ex, the rebooted version of Deus Ex, and I like that.
Human Revolution,
and I'm kind of expecting it to be like that, but on a larger scale. And that's not fair to put it on that game, but that's the only game I can really compare it to as far as like, you know, settings and what they're trying to do and RPG mechanics and all other stuff like that.
Well, yeah, gameplay style
and
too, right?
Gameplay style as well. So it's like I liked. I didn't play the second. What was it called? Mankind Divided, right? That was the second Deus Ex.
Yes, which was excellent.
I didn't play that one. I plan on going back and playing that one. I don't know, when I'm looking at this game, I mean, now granted, I do have a chip on my shoulder by the game because it's not in third person. I don't see the point of customizing your character if it's not third person. If it's third person, or if it's not third person, I really don't see the point of going in depth. Like, oh, you can change your genitals and you can make them big and small. Like, I can't see it anyway, except for if I look in the mirror. Like, that's cool.
I think you can see it.
I think you can see it.
You can change your genitals and make them bigger and smaller and all that shit like that.
I think you're gonna be able to see it during cutscenes. But I'm not sure.
All right. I mean, I guess, but
yeah.
I mean, that was a big turn off for me.
Though.
That was a big turn off for me. But I kind of got over it, like I said, because I played Mankind Divided since that news came out, or not Mankind Divided, Human Revolution. Played Human Revolution since that news came out, like last year or whatever the case may be, when they first revealed the game. And I got over it because I'm like, all right, I can play a first person RPG and still feel like I want to feel playing the game. But even with Human Revolution, when you take cover, I believe it goes into third person, right? Or maybe I'm thinking about a different game.
No. The weird thing that Deus Ex is a little weird with the way it does first person, because when you do assassination kills, like stealth kills, the game comes out of first person. And
that's true. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, which is strange. So
yeah, but I don't know, maybe, like I said, Deus Ex is going to have more of that, or not Deus Ex, but Cyberpunk is going to have more of that. Maybe that's why they're putting all the customization options in there. It just doesn't make any sense for me right now. Like, I don't really get why you can do all that if you can't see yourself 85% of the game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because it's like cosmetics in Overwatch, dude. I never understood why you would spend money on cosmetics in that game, because you can't see your fucking character. Like, you see everyone else's characters, you know, you see their skins, but it's like you don't see your own, so what's even the point, you know?
Exactly. Yeah,
I don't know. So I know what you mean there. And yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the game. I'm just like kind of, I don't know, I'm a little weird about it right now, because I mean, yeah, with I know we're gonna talk about this later, but Halo getting delayed kind of like opens the door that, like, if Halo's getting delayed, like, I feel like any game could get delayed at this point. So it's like, because that was supposed to be the fucking game for the launch, you know, of Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. I understand where you're coming from, but all right, you've been playing anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. I've also been playing Ghost of Tsushima. Very hard, actually. I kind of took like a break last week, like a pretty significant one, like 6 days probably. I got a little burnt on it when I got to the end of Act 1, like towards the end of Act 1, because we'll talk about this more deeply in the spoiler cast for the game, but I do think the game's like pacing is a little not great at certain points, and Act 1 specifically. Like, I just think there's too much shit to do in Act 1, and the game like doesn't give you enough missions to fill the map out, in a way that makes like exploration organic. There was a lot of like manual fog clearing at the end of Act 1 for me, and it just wasn't very fun. So I got a little burn on the game, but I got back into it. Act 2 is like way better with that. So I'm actually almost done with Act 2 now. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm still playing on lethal, and it's still challenging, even with all the upgrades you get, but it's definitely mitigated at this point. Like my health is like high enough where I can probably take like 3 or 4 hits depending on the enemies. And the amount of shit you have in this game that allows you to one-shot enemies is just like fucking absurd. Like the toolkit they give you is so broken. It's like all the basically almost every ghost item enables you to one-hit kill people. You can use your bow and arrow, which has like that concentration time. Getting headshots with that is super easy. Then you get like ghost stance unlocked, and that's like 3 free kills basically. Standoffs are basically free kills. It's like the amount of shit you have to just kill like legions of enemies is pretty insane. It's not like a detraction from the game, but it's definitely not like anybody comparing it to Sekiro or Dark Souls or even Neo is like you're way off base with that. Like those games don't give you these kind of tools, where you like throw a kunai at an enemy and that's an insta kill. It's like it doesn't like it. Yeah, no, that doesn't really happen. So I am still having fun with the duels though. They are very enjoyable. I'm running out of them though. I think I only have one left of the Ronin ones, and I'm sure there's more in Act 3, but I'm trying to savor them at this point. So I've gotten to the point though that I'm just like posting all of my gameplay of them on Twitter when I beat them, because it's like I almost like I'm doing it for myself just to like record it all and have it. So yeah, I the game's really fun though. The story's definitely picked up a little bit for me too. I do like some of the stuff that's happened in Act 2. So I also started trying out. I'm sure everybody's heard of this game, Fall Guys, which is like taking the world by storm. Basically, I decided to give it a shot since it's free on PS Plus this month, and this game's fun. It's a very stupid, fun kind of game. It's not something that's like I'm gonna be like obsessed with probably, but jumping in there for a game or two every night is not is like pretty enjoyable. It's so basically it's like it's structured like a game show. That's like the theme of it, is that you're playing in a game show that has like 5 rounds, and you're up against 59 other people, so 60 players total. And you have to do specific challenges basically. Like there's different games that you play every round. Like the first round is always like a race to the finish, and the first like 35 or 40 people that get to the finish qualify for the next round. And then the next like 3 rounds are kind of like randomized. There'll be mini games of some sort, whether it's like a team game or some sort of survival game where you have to like run on like a rotating platform and not fall into like some lava or something like that. But then the final round is always usually it's either one of two things. You have to like get a tail from somebody and hold the tail for the duration of the match, or you have to be the first person to run up an obstacle course and get to the crown basically and grab the crown. But the game is like really silly because like the character you're playing is like really immobile and like has weird physics and just gets like fucking tossed around by things. So it's like a really funny game to just like play. I honestly, my wife was watching me play it last night, and it was like it was actually pretty fun. Like she ended up playing it herself because it was just so like stupid and goofy. Because I was one of the obstacle courses has these like rotating kind of arms that rotate, and if they hit you, they'll fucking launch you, dude, and your character just gets like tossed and like rolls around and shit, and then just gets like thrown off platforms. It's pretty funny. So I do like the game. I think it'll be more fun to play with people I know for sure. So I mean, if you guys decide to pick it up, like it's free to download on PlayStation for PS Plus. So let me know if you get it, because that'd be fun. But yeah, I'd recommend it if you have PS Plus. I mean, like I said, it's free. Just give it a shot at this point. It's definitely a fun experience. And otherwise, I've been playing Brigandine, of course, still, but not much more to say there. So check out the Let's Plays if you want to see my gameplay. All right, let's move on to the news. So we have a few things that happened this week. One of them, let's start with this one. Dr. Disrespect. We talked about a few weeks ago, back in June, that he got banned from Twitch, and nobody knew why. Doc didn't even know why himself. And he came back to streaming this past week. He is now on YouTube streaming, and he did this like big hype stream the day before he actually went live, and he was like just playing music and like voiceovers and shit for like the whole day. It was really funny actually, but then he came back on, I think it was Thursday or Friday, and streamed for the first time, and he did have comments on the Twitch ban, and he said basically he has no idea. He still has no idea.
What is Twitch doing?
They haven't told him shit. They never contacted him about the ban. Like, they just banned him straight up. Like, they didn't even send him a generic, like, blah, 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 blah. You've been banned for, breaking our rules of conduct or whatever on Twitch.
Well, now he's on YouTube.
Yeah, but they still should send him something. That's like
they should.
That's unprofessional as fuck.
It is unprofessional. They should, but I'm just saying that's opportunity they missed out on.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, they're probably not going to tell him. I'm sure there's a lot of legal back and forth happening related to it, because I feel like at the very least have to tell him why he was banned. Like, it feels really, like you said, Montrell, it's just unprofessional, like really immature, and like it feels like they're not. It feels to me like they're not justified in what they did, and they're trying to cover it up. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
Like I said before, I think someone went rogue on the ban button and just banned him.
I like, it could be something as stupid as that. Like, I think it could be, because it's just like, at this point, what could be the justification? It can't be a Me Too thing, because I feel like that would have come out publicly.
Oh yeah, that would have been came out.
And if it was something else, like, why are they withholding what it is? If it's something like, it's not something criminal, because there's been nothing submit like through the court system for that, and there's been no charges pressed or anything like that. So what is it? Like, what could it be? And I just feel like at this point it's something that like Twitch does not want to get out there, and the weird part about it for me, though, that I don't understand is because when he was first banned, there were all these motherfuckers out on Twitter going around talking about how, like, oh my god, I learned why Dr. Disrespect was banned. And man, it's really bad, guys. Like, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure all of you were lying, because Doc doesn't even know. So, like, how did you find out? I'm pretty sure they were all lying for clout, basically. And I mean, that's my feeling on it. That's my gut, at least, on the whole situation, because it like, if all of them knew, I don't feel like all these people would be able to keep their lips like sealed on it. Because like, you would get more clout by saying what it was. This would be the biggest story on the internet, if somebody said what the reason for Dr. Disrespect's ban was. So the fact that they're not is I don't know, like, it feels like some clout chasing going on for me. So,
well, that's the thing right now. There was a tweet I saw about all these quote unquote insiders and stuff like that, and how they can just tweet one thing and they get thousands of followers off of it, and then they become insiders, and then they're not actually insiders. They're just all they do is have a whole bunch of filters, or not filters, but maybe a whole bunch of alerts set up, whether it be at home or email or whatever, and they have to be glued to their fucking emails and their fucking stuff. So when any kind of news break happens, they can be the first one to tweet it out and seem like an insider or whatever. Yep. So, yeah. This definitely exposes a lot of things. But back to the Twitch thing, I just think Twitch doesn't want to admit fault. I think either one of their AIs or bots went rogue and kind of banned them by mistake, or an employee did it. I think if it was a bot, they would have came out and was like, oh, it was by mistake, one of our bots did it, blah blah blah. But I think it was an employee. I think someone there banned him for some reason, and for whatever reason he was on stream and they were in this chat and something like that, and I don't know, it's just weird. This is the weirdest thing that I've ever seen in like streaming history so far.
Well, and the money that was tied up with him with Twitch, like he had just signed like a multi-million-dollar deal with Twitch, and that's kind of the weird part from Twitch's perspective, like that's why I'm not 100% on board with the idea that it was just something stupid that they're trying to like like cover up, because why would they give up what the amount of like viewership he brought to the platform, just to like protect themselves? Like it seems kind of dumb. So that does lend credence to the idea that there is something there, but I just like some of the other things though point to there being nothing there, and it's kind of a really fascinating situation for me at this point. But he's back on YouTube, and he had like 125,000 people watching him today. So it's like, I mean, he's fine. He's gonna be fine. I don't think it matters. You know what's interesting though? I did notice, because I watched like an hour of his first stream, and he came back, and he is no longer sponsored by G Fuel. And he is actually got sponsored by Mountain Dew's Game Fuel. They're like an energy drink. And yeah, so he got dropped by his sponsors, and I think a couple of his other sponsors that were big sponsors for him dropped him as well. So
what's going on?
That is an interesting wrinkle to it that makes me think something serious did go on here. But it might have just been reactions from those companies though, because they might not know what happened, but they might just assume it was bad because of the timing of it, because it was surrounded by all that Me Too stuff on Twitch.
Yeah.
And they may have just assumed it was something along those lines, and we're just trying to like get in front of it before it came out, and then it never came out. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's a wild situation. It really is. Like there's, like you said, there's been nothing really like it, specifically with Twitch, but yeah.
Well, it's weird because it happened right after that Mixer thing, so it was like,
right.
Maybe they felt like they didn't need him anymore, and they just banned him. I don't know.
They were sick of dealing with him.
Yeah, maybe they felt like they just really didn't need him anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be as simple as that, but they would have came out and said that. But that's why I think. Yeah. I mean, that could be a possibility. I do notice a lot of people streaming on YouTube now, and they're streaming with their music, because YouTube doesn't have that DMCA thing with the stream. A lot of people that a lot of small streamers that I've been watching, I've actually went to YouTube because of the music thing. Like, it's just, Twitch is just getting they're clamping down too hard on certain things, and I don't know.
Well, the unfortunate part for Doc though is that nobody on Twitch can stream with him, because like they can't play games with him while they're on stream, because that's part of the ban. If you're banned on Twitch, no one on Twitch can play games with you live, like while they're on Twitch. So that's that's an unfortunate part for Doc, because that was a lot of his content. Like when he played, was that he would play with other streamers a lot, actually. So that kind of sucks, but I don't know. Maybe Twitch will change that policy. I doubt it though. They seem very set in their ways. So all right, let's move on. Our next story is from Reggie Fils-Aimé. He posted on Twitter last week the sales of the Nintendo Switch through June 30th, and they're at 61.44 million in 3 years and 3 months, which is insane. But he posted that relative to all other Nintendo consoles, and it is, as of June 30th, like right behind the Super NES, which is at 61.91 million. So it's probably fair to say that it has surpassed the Super NES at this point. So yeah, that's crazy. That's second all time for Nintendo consoles is the Switch in 3 years and 3 months, which, I mean, I think we all have Switches, right, on the show?
Yep.
You know it.
Yeah, so it's a great device. I'm not surprised by the sales. It's just crazy how fast it happened, dude. Like, they actually have a chance with this thing to break the Wii record of 101.63 million. I think if they keep this thing on the market for 2 or 3 more years, they probably will be able to do that, because it just continues to sell. Like, it just doesn't. It's like at the point where it's been out of stock during this whole coronavirus pandemic. And yeah, so you guys have any thoughts on those sales numbers?
No, I'm not surprised. I was gonna just say I'm not surprised, because the Wii is awesome. Like I said,
the Wii is awesome.
Oh yeah, sorry. The Switch. Yeah, no, the Switch is awesome. No, I actually hated the Wii. Actually,
I think we all did.
Yeah, most of us did.
I hated the Wii. No, the Switch is awesome. It can do no wrong in my eyes. So I'm not surprised that everybody is gravitating towards it and buying one. And also the pandemic. People feel as though they have nothing else to do, so they might as well buy a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as the pandemic is going on, console sales are going to just continue to rise.
Yeah,
Montrell?
I mean, it kind of deserved it. The only thing that it needs, I think, will push more sales is like a virtual console. If they were able to get, I don't know if it's like a licensing thing or whatever, but if they can get the GameCube games on the Switch, I think it would sell sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Even the 64 and Super NES. I think they have Super NES now, but
they just got Super NES, yeah.
But they get the Game Boy Advance on there, it's a wrap. Like just getting the Game Boy Advance on there would be monumental for sales if people knew that. So
why is it taking them so long, dude? It's so annoying. They're so irritating with this. Like it's such a slam dunk thing to do, you know? And they for some reason they don't care, you know? I guess it's not really hurting them because they're still selling consoles like crazy and games like crazy, but for us though, for those of us who are like into that, who want that, it's just like it's so frustrating to watch this. Like we're gonna get it in like the last year of this thing's fucking life, you know, whenever they announce the next Switch or whatever the next console is. And it's like really, you're gonna do this now? Like
honestly, I hope they don't try to do something. I don't understand Nintendo is like a company of innovators, and they do something different every generation, except for like with the Wii to the Wii U. I hope they kind of continue this though and make it a Switch 2, but let's not call it like Switch X. Like call it something. Let's not do the Wii U thing. Let's do it like Switch 2.
Branding, yeah, it needs to have a 2 on it, I think.
Yeah, so hopefully they do that. But I can tell you right now, like I know we have like some coworkers who, if the Switch right now was announced and had all the NES stuff on there right now, they'll probably buy the Switch. Like I know my parents and stuff, they will buy the Switch if it had a whole bunch of virtual consoles that they can just buy on there, stuff like that. It will sell to the higher aged audience or the upper age audience. They will probably be interested in buying it. And then if, like for your kids or something like that too, like, oh, I can play my old games and my kids can play their newer games. So like that's really cool. So I don't know. It's like you said, it seems like a slam dunk, but hopefully they'll figure it out.
All right, cool. Well, congrats to Nintendo. Let's move on. This next story was crazy for like 3 hours last Thursday. So Donald Trump signed some executive orders related to TikTok and an app called WeChat, which are both Chinese developed applications. And the executive order, basically 45 days from when it was signed, all transactions with those apps will be prohibited basically in the United States. But the wording of the one for WeChat was such that it kind of threw everything into disarray within games. We did not know what the fuck was going on. It was quickly kind of debunked that it would affect games, but hold on, let me find the exact wording. Let's see. Sorry, I'm like going through a bunch of legal jargon here. I can't find it right now, but basically what happened was that it mentioned Tencent, who owns the WeChat company in the application, and the way it was worded made it sound like all transactions with Tencent and their subsidiaries were also going to be prohibited, which, as we've talked about on this show for literally since it started, Tencent has a ton of companies that they own or have some amount of ownership of. They fully own Riot. They have 40% of Epic. They have some stake in Activision Blizzard. They just bought Funcom like a few weeks ago, which we talked about. And then there's a few others as well that they also have. They have some investment in. And like we were talking, like the joke that night was like League of Legends got banned in the United States, basically. Which was crazy though. I mean, I was like freaking out because like it like the way it was worded made it sound like that was the case. Somebody came out and said that this was not going to affect video games, like video game holdings. It was specifically for WeChat. It was just poorly worded to make it sound like it wasn't. But there hasn't, like, I think the White House did confirm that, but there hasn't been a lot of reporting in the games industry beyond the initial slew of reporting about the actual executive order. But I mean, I notified both of you guys immediately when I saw this. Like, what were your thoughts when this was going down?
I thought, yeah, that's his election. That's what I thought. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is going to affect a lot of businesses. They only got 45 days. I figured they're going to try to do some like legal maneuvering, like moving companies around and stuff like that, and try to get past that ban. Mm-hmm. But I also thought, like, I was surprised too when I was on Twitter that no one knew who Tencent was, and this is why I want the podcast to get bigger, because we've been talking about them since day one. How many moves they're making and things of that nature. Like, I think we when they acquired Activision Blizzard, right? We were on top of that. So I think that was like one of their biggest purchases when we were covering them.
Well, when they invested in Bungie too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They didn't buy any shares, but
they gave them not 1.5, but they gave them 150 million. And then a couple months later, Bungie was like, "Hey, we're independent now." So, no one talks about that, and we still don't know what kind of games they're making for Tencent, or if Tencent even wants games from them. So it's just, they do have their hands everywhere, like everywhere. They're like the Sons of Patriots off Metal Gear. They're just everywhere, man. Like, I don't know.
I mean, for me, I was just thinking to myself on the lower level of, TikTok was just growing on me. TikTok was it gave me Vine vibe. So all the funny videos, people are so creative. And so when the thing came out, I was like, man, TikTok about to go away already.
Well, they might get purchased by Microsoft. That's the rumor. And this order would allow that to happen. So, like, if
no, Microsoft's gonna ruin it.
If Tencent sells TikTok or WeChat to somebody else, then it wouldn't be affected by this, basically, like somebody outside of China. But I did find this section here about Tencent, so let me read it. So Section 1A, the following actions shall be prohibited beginning 45 days after the date of this order to the extent permitted under applicable law. Any transaction that is related to WeChat by any person or with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States with Tencent Holdings Limited, Shenzhen, China, or any subsidiary of that entity as identified by the Secretary of Commerce under Section 1C of this order. Like, that definitely made it sound like they were including all of Tencent's stuff, but this legal stuff is kind of worded very strangely sometimes. So it seemed like a big misinterpretation by most of us in the gaming industry, but this is not our forte, so I can understand that. But I don't know, man. Like, if this actually happened, like, video games would have gotten blown up. Like, the industry would have been completely upended, because League of Legends is the biggest game in the world still, and the idea that wouldn't have been able to sell anything on like in the United States is fucking bonkers. That would have been insane. I don't know how like big of a market the US is compared to the rest of the world, for them, but I'm sure it's a very large market for them. So yeah, this was nuts. I would recommend you guys go look into this and like read about it, because it's very interesting. But they were pretty specific, I guess, with WeChat. So you guys have anything else you want to say about this?
No. This is just another Trump assault on the good people of America. Such is our lives as American citizens.
Nah, I don't know. I knew it wasn't going to be what I thought it was. But it was just funny to see the internet blow up for about 3 hours. Even me, when I blew up for about 3 hours, I'm like, oh man, this is crazy.
Too. Oh my god, I was playing something, and then I saw this on Twitter, and I literally didn't play a game for the rest of the night. Like I was like glued to Twitter trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the powers that be called him and was like, hey, what?
This doesn't affect us, right?
Yeah.
Well, because we were talking about it that night too. Like, if it happened, like, we would have seen a lot of movement of stuff.
Yeah.
Like companies might have been sold. Like, there might have been a lot of companies being sold in the industry. So yeah, but I guess it's probably a good thing it's not happening. But the thing is, the fact that they already did this with TikTok and WeChat does mean that it's possible at some point that this could happen to these companies.
Yeah, I was going to say that if the game company gets I don't want to sound racist, but like, I guess, yeah, if the game company gets taken over by like Tencent, which is a Chinese company, and Trump is still president, like 2 or 3 years later, I can see this happening. And I can probably even see this happening post-Trump, like another president seeing all these.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think this is now like on the table as a possibility that it could happen. Like, League is fully owned by Tencent, so like that game is definitely in the crosshairs.
Yeah, I can definitely see them banning League of Legends or banning other games, especially if like things get tense or something like that. They can just ban stuff.
If they start doing things with it too, and like, people find out they're like trying to mine people's data through that game or something like that could definitely kick something off. So it's something we'll be keeping an eye on for sure at this point. I'm glad we've been covering Tencent because this was very funny happenstance. So all right, let's move on. So Microsoft has had a bit of a rough week, I'd say. They had their little game showcase a few weeks ago, and we'll start with I'd say this is probably the smallest story of the three that we have related to Microsoft. But so they have been trying to get Xcloud and Game Pass on mobile devices, and iOS, like Apple devices, were one of those. And Apple came out this week and said that no, they're not going to be able to have Xcloud on the App Store unless they get every single game basically individually rated and approved. They have a statement, actually. So, quote, "The App Store was created to be a safe and trusted place for customers to discover and download apps, and a great business opportunity for all developers. Before they go on our store, all apps are reviewed against the same set of guidelines that are intended to protect customers and provide a fair and level playing field to developers. Our customers enjoy great apps and games from millions of developers, and gaming services can absolutely launch on the App Store as long as they follow the same set of guidelines applicable to all developers, including submitting games individually for review and appearing in charts and search. In addition to the App Store, developers can choose to reach all iPhone and iPad users over the web using through Safari and other browsers on the App Store." So that was their response. And then Microsoft released a statement after the fact as well. Quote, "Our testing period for Project xCloud preview app for iOS has expired. Unfortunately, we do not have a path to bring our vision of cloud gaming with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to gamers on iOS via the Apple App Store. Apple stands alone as the only general purpose platform to deny consumers from cloud gaming and game subscription services like Xbox Game Pass. And it consistently treats gaming apps differently, applying more lenient rules to non-gaming apps, even when they include interactive content. All games available in the Xbox Game Pass catalog are rated for content by independent industry ratings bodies such as the ESRB and regional equivalents. We are committed to finding a path to bring cloud gaming with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to the iOS platform. We believe that the customer should be at the heart of the gaming experience, and gamers tell us they want to play, connect, and share anywhere, no matter where they are. We agree." End quote. So, man, they're going at each other. What do you guys think about this?
So Apple Cloud Gaming, they will only allow it if it was going through the Apple Cloud thing?
Well, I'm sure that they'd allow their own shit through. But this affects Stadia as well. So Stadia is not going to be able to be on iOS either.
Oh, that makes sense. That's like Google and that's Android. So, I mean...
But unless Google wants to go through the individual review process for every game.
That's stupid. Now, that part is stupid.
Well, that's the part that's the problem, because Microsoft would have to go through so much paperwork. I mean, think about how many games are on Game Pass, like hundreds. Like I think it's 100 to 200 or something like that. That's crazy. And then whatever games they add in the future, they're going to have to do this every time. Like, and then Apple's going to do their thing where they're going to find problems with individual games, and like Microsoft's going to have to like fix that somehow, even though it's not their games. A lot of them, it's like, no, that's just completely absurd. Like Apple's, in my opinion, doing this specifically just because they want to block Microsoft from having their service on the App Store.
That doesn't make any sense though, because you have users who are like myself who have Xbox, and I am going to invest in Game Pass, but not for like the cloud. But that would have been a bonus to it. But now I can't use it because you're denying me as the Apple user to play on. Yeah. It just. So are they going to do this with like So I'm pretty sure Sony has something like that, like a remote play in place or something like that. I'm pretty sure they have something like this in the works.
No, that's already a thing. You can remote play, I believe, through iOS, with your PlayStation 4, like currently,
So
and they have no problem with that. Apparently.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's my point about this. I'm pretty sure they're just targeting Microsoft and being like, "Fuck you, we don't want your shit on our store," you know. Because yeah, I can't see a reason why they wouldn't want this on there. Like their reasoning is questionable with this. You know, I don't know. Tiara, what do you think?
I just think that, when it comes to like IPs and stuff, it can get so complicated. I just think to myself, we should just all be friends. How come everybody just can't share? And we can have everything on all these platforms, and I get that, it can be a bit difficult. But see, I think that the Game Pass is a winner. I kind of feel bad that Microsoft is holding back on the cloud part, because I saw some of my friends who are like Xbox enthusiasts. I saw some of them tweet about how excited they were for the mobile gaming part. Essentially, you plug a little screen or you plug the controller into a little screen, and you're able to play the games on a go. I thought
Well,
it would
it's
be kind of,
literally plugging it into your phone, I think.
yeah, but you're supposed to be able to play whole games though, right?
Yeah, no, any game.
Any
I'm pretty
game,
sure
right?
any game. Yeah.
And as we were saying before, the Game Pass value is already there before that. That was just like an extra thing on top of it. But me, who already has the Game Pass, I actually have Game Pass Ultimate. I was like, oh, that was kind of like a cool feature.
Yeah.
We're talking about things that are trying to rope people back into the Microsoft ecosystem again, and then they like, we're gonna hold off on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, really, it's like every time, that, and combined with Halo Infinite, delayed every time. I just feel like we should just stop, falling in love with the potential of Microsoft and start, realizing Microsoft for who they are.
They've broken you. You were all in a couple weeks ago after that game showcase.
Oh yeah,
and now...
I'm still all in when I'm still all in, especially now since Shane said he's gonna get the Series X. Yeah. I don't have to be pressed to get the Series X right away. Like,
I mean, you did say you're playing every game on Xbox Game Pass.
I am, but when I'm talking about spending, $400 or $500 on a PS5, and then another $400 or $500 on a Series X,
$1,000, yeah. That's before we even buy games.
Before we even buy games. So I'm like, okay, well, if I don't have to buy it right away. But I am still going to get it. I am still excited for those games. But it's just that Microsoft just keeps finding a way to drop the ball. Like, just keeps finding a way to drop the ball.
That's why I feel like Apple's doing this on purpose. I feel like they know that Microsoft's like not having a great time, and they just like sticking it to them. They're just sticking the knife in and twisting it.
I'm not sure that I trust Apple with gaming either. It's kind of like how
I don't. Are you kidding me? I absolutely don't. They're gonna give Microsoft and Google a hard time about streaming games when they're gonna allow people to spend their entire life's fortune on a fucking mobile game. Fuck that. Fuck off. You have no moral. There's no moral high ground here to stand on. Like, no.
It's just that the way, just like Montrell feels about Facebook gaming. I just don't trust Apple with gaming. And I like Apple, but yeah, I don't trust Apple with gaming.
I think the reason they're doing this is I think they're going to have their own cloud gaming service in the future. And that's they probably want it to be like exclusive to the App Store. So,
well, I would say if Apple would have, let's say they would have developed a Mac specifically for gaming, like a gaming Mac, because and then made software that was compatible with it.
Yeah.
Then people would have bought more into Apple and gaming. Yeah. You just coming out with the cloud service right away, or a gaming service, or whatever. People are gonna be like, "What? This is so left field."
A cloud service kind of solves their problem, though, doesn't it? because they wouldn't necessarily have to, like, you could play it not on a Mac, you know?
I just think about the hardware that it takes to run some of those games. Like, you know, that's the whole point of getting a PC is so you can get the top of the line hardware to run the games at the top of the line frame rates, all that extra stuff. So
yeah, it may not. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that I think to myself, like, if Apple would have got into the gaming field a while ago, that would have been one thing. But it seemed like to me this is just so left field. This is just like, oh, we got enough money. Let's just try this. Let's just try our hand at gaming now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think it doesn't make any sense, even though it may be a small user base, but it may be like 1% of your user base, or maybe even 0.1, maybe like 10,000 people, right? That may have iPhones may switch over to Android because they want this cloud gaming. I mean, I'm considering it because I want the cloud gaming. I mean, that would be a plus for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing about it is Microsoft has the infrastructure for cloud gaming. They have Azure.
Yeah, they do. I'm just saying, as far as this app
I don't
goes,
feel like Apple. Yeah. Oh well.
I'm just talking about this app in general, like, because from what remote view is essentially the same thing. I think it's not working over the cloud though. That's the only thing. Like, you need your console on, and I think you have to be on the same Wi-Fi and all the other shit like that. But there isn't a reason why this shouldn't be a thing. If that's a thing, like, they're losing out on money, in my opinion. Like, this is just stupid. Like, there's no reason for it. Like, I can't think of a reason how this can make you money. Like, from a business standpoint, I can't think of it.
That's why I think they're going to do their own. I don't think they want competition. And yeah, I mean, it's really like small potatoes, I think, in the grand scheme of things on mobile, but it's just an interesting thing in our sphere, that they're taking this stance because they are screwing over their Apple users who are gamers, and we're interested in streaming. And it's like, if I'm right and they are doing something, they haven't announced it, and who knows when they would, when they'd be ready for that. It could be years, and they might not do anything at all too. Like, I might be wrong. They might not be doing anything at all. So then, like, cloud gaming is just out on Apple devices, and that's not going to be great, because from what we've seen, Microsoft's version of cloud gaming is the best iteration of it. Obviously, we got to get it in our hands first, when it comes out in a couple months. But to me, like, if it is the best one, though, people would want it on Apple stuff. So I don't know. I mean, this is what they do. This is Apple. They're big enough where they can bully whoever they want to bully, and that's what they do. They pick and choose who they want to bully. They cherry pick whoever they want to bully, like, and they just make up whatever fucking reason they don't like. It doesn't matter. But they'll have these, like, Chinese mobile games that are fucking ridiculous, where it's like $100 microtransactions, just to play the damn game, and they have those on the App Store. They don't give a shit about those. They don't care. They don't care that kids can play those. Like, they don't give a shit about that at all. But, like, but this though, this is a problem. Microsoft letting you stream whatever game you want. We gotta make sure those games are all kosher. Yeah, I mean, they've been rated, bro. Like, they've been rated. Like Microsoft said, they've been rated. So I feel like this is a really phony, like, reason for them to be pushing back against Microsoft. But whatever, it is what it is. They can do what they want. It's their ecosystem, and there are millions and millions and millions and millions of people who don't care, and they will continue to buy Apple products no matter what. So, all right, let's move on to more Xbox news. There was a leak of a controller box for the Xbox, the new controller for the Xbox Series X. But the interesting part of this leak is that on the back of it, it mentioned something called the Xbox Series S, and that the controller was obviously compatible with that, which basically just leaked the slim version, or the smaller version of the console that we've all been kind of talking about. the Project Lockhart that has been rumored for a while, basically just outed this. We don't know. Obviously, we don't know exactly what the Xbox Series S is, but we can kind of guess. I feel like we can make educated guesses based on the information we have. And I would assume that this is going to be the lower price point, potentially all digital Xbox, next gen Xbox. I mean, does this surprise you guys at all that this is a thing?
No, because
Nope.
there's the One S. There's a 1S and then there's a 1X.
No,
So
we heard about this a couple months ago, or like
I
a
know,
couple weeks
but
ago.
what I'm
actually,
saying is, okay, yeah, there's an Xbox One S, but that came out like 4 years after the Xbox One. Like this is going to be a launch thing, clearly. So they're coming out with two distinct versions of the Xbox that
no,
are going
I
to
know.
be very much different from one another.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is there's already an S and an X in existence, so it does not surprise me that there's going to be a Series S and a Series X.
I mean, it just makes sense. They did it in the 360 era too. They had a console. They had a discless 360.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're doing it earlier, but I mean, I kind of already knew they were gonna do it because they did it with the 360. They did with the Xbox One, and it only makes sense to do with the Xbox Series. So
yeah,
and their whole goal is to get inside the house no matter what. So whether it be the expensive model or the inexpensive model. So I mean, it just makes sense.
Well, they did confirm that the console's coming out in November. They didn't give a date, but they confirmed it was in November. I didn't put this in the news because it's not newsworthy, because we knew it's coming out in November. It's going to come out between November 10th and 20th. I'm just going to continue to say that. It's the most obvious thing imaginable. It might not be the same week as Sony. Whatever week Sony picks, Microsoft's going to pick the other week. Like that's probably what's going to happen. So like I everybody was like, "Oh God, it's coming in November." Like, yeah, if you have half a brain, you should have known it was coming in November. Like what we need to know is the price, and these motherfuckers won't tell us the damn price. Like, stop playing chicken with each other. We're done. Just tell us what it is. Like what is this? It's not gonna blow our minds. Like, we just need to know what the damn price is. You know, sick of this shit. I'm over it. Okay, we're like 3 months out, guys. Like, let's do it. All right, you're not like one of you is not gonna one up the other by being $50 cheaper. It's not gonna be that big of a mind blowing deal. But whatever. Let's get on to the other Microsoft news. This was the really bad news that we've talked about a couple times, but let's talk about it in depth here. Halo Infinite was announced to be delayed to spring of 2021, and there was a statement from 343 Industries on this delay. So, quote, "Today, I want to share an important Halo Infinite development update with the community. We have made the difficult decision to shift our release to 2021 to ensure the team has adequate time to deliver a Halo game experience that meets our vision. The decision to shift our release is the result of multiple factors that have contributed to development challenges, including the ongoing COVID-related impacts affecting us all this year. I want to acknowledge the hard work from our team at 343 Industries, who have remained committed to making a great game and finding solutions to development challenges. However, it is not sustainable for the well-being of our team or the overall success of the game to ship it this holiday. We know this will be disappointing to many of you, and we all share in that sentiment. The passion and support the community has shown over the years has been incredible and inspiring. We wanted nothing more than to play our game with the community this holiday. The extra time will let us finish the critical work necessary to deliver the most ambitious Halo game ever at the quality we know our fans expect. Thank you for your support and understanding," end quote. What do you guys think about this delay?
Honestly, I can't believe they did it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good they did it, but I can't believe they did it. I watched that. There was a lot of technical things going on that gamers didn't understand and that we're used to with that trailer. That was actually groundbreaking in that trailer, but we couldn't see it because the way everything was set up, if that makes any sense. And I'm not standing for it because the game looked terrible. But after watching that Digital Foundry video and explaining the lighting system and everything of that nature, and I already knew about previous games baking lighting into textures and shadows into textures, and I had to do that stuff too. So I already knew about that. Let's
explain for the people. So the game is using dynamic lighting, which is not a new thing, but it's going to be much more common because these consoles will be able to do it.
Yeah.
And actually it's not going to bring the game's like fidelity down or frame rate down because they're powerful enough to do it. Versus games like The Last of Us Part 2 that don't have dynamic lighting, the lighting and the shadows and everything are baked into textures, meaning that they are actually a part of the texture. It's not, the light's not moving and like changing, or like with the movement of the light source. Like the light source will move and change certain things, but some environments will be made where there is no change happening. It never, like, changes don't happen. So.
Yeah, so I guess another way we can put it is like, say like you got the Last of Us, the workshop or whatever. You're in the workshop, Ellie's standing in the window of the workshop, and you see the boxes and the textures and the shadows and the wrinkles in the shadows. What they do is they render before the game is even like, I don't want to say put in production, but they render that out first. So they make a test site, or they put the light source in there, they render it out, and you have all the lights and all the shadows in there, and they essentially take a picture of it and put that texture on the box, and it's so good that it looks like the lights and the shadows are there. Then they do have a secondary light source, which is not strong, but it's there. It's not dynamic in a way. So when Ellie does run around the boxes, it does have a shadow there, but it's not like a realistic shadow. It wouldn't be realistic. What Halo was doing was everything was dynamic. So the reason why it looks so bad, if you could go outside, you can go outside in real life and look at this. If you have a house, right, and the house is casting a shadow over the yard, everything in the yard is not going to have a shadow. Like everything is going to look kind of bland. Like
it's going to have like a darker, like faded look.
Yeah, it's going to have a dark faded look. It's not going to be. There's not going to be shadows there, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening in the Halo trailer, because which is to their dismay, that's 343's fault for setting that trailer up like that. That is their fault. Because the sun was hitting the mountain was casting a huge shadow over the battlefield area, and there weren't any shadows to kind of bounce off of anything, because it's calculating that data, and it's like, oh, there's no shadows, so why even try? And that's why everything looks so Xbox 360-ish in that thing. Whereas if they had a baked shadows onto those models and all the armor and stuff like that, you still would have seen shadows and things of that nature on the skin, the wrinkles, the armor. It would have been realistic, but our eyes can't really tell the difference. Like, oh, that's realistic. We just know that there's supposed to be a wrinkle there, or whatever the case may be. And the shadow will be casting it. I mean, it's a whole Digital Foundry video on it. Just search like Digital Foundry Halo Infinite trailer, and he'll explain all of it in detail. He'll break it down to layman's terms for you. Right. But even still, I'm glad they're kind of going back to the drawing board, because I don't think we are ready for this yet, the dynamic lighting that these consoles can do. Maybe in the future, but I still think they should still do some kind of texture baking onto it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like this is something that they're gonna have to, like, developers are gonna have to ease gamers into, I feel like, because we're used to viewing games through a certain lens, and just like cold turkey taking that lens away it kind of creates the reaction we got with Halo, with the way Halo looks. And I think a lot of people were saying the game doesn't look good, but we didn't necessarily we weren't pinpointing the reason why. And like the textures are one of them. Like the textures definitely have a smooth quality to them, and that's like an aesthetic they're going for. That's one piece of it, but this dynamic lighting part, I think, is the bigger part, that it just doesn't look the same.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were complaining about the art style, but that's been the art style of Halo since its inception. But like you can turn to one example, Halo 1 and Halo 2 on the Xbox, because Justin actually brought that to my attention a couple days ago, or yesterday. The reason why you can tell the difference in between Halo 1, even though they're on the same console and the hardware, is because by the time Halo 2 came out on the Xbox, the original Xbox, people learned how to properly bake textures. So that's why you got the shiny armor, the shadows look more distinct and everything like that nature, because Halo 2 essentially looked like almost like an early 360 game.
It really did. It was way ahead of its time. It was crazy. And the Halos after that, they start doing that same thing. That's why almost every Halo looked really good until this Halo came out, and they're like, we're going to try something new. So
Unfortunately, it didn't work the way they intended it to, or it actually did. It worked too well, rather, and it kind of backfired. So I'm glad they're going back to the drawing board on it, though. It does suck because there aren't any games coming out. Like, I mean, there are games coming out, but we don't know. Like, the one game I'm looking forward to is that Medium game, and I don't know if that's coming out this year or with the Xbox Series X or like next year. So I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't even take up all the time, but Tiara, what you think?
Yeah, go for it, man. Hey, Tiara, what are your thoughts on this? I know you're sad about it.
No, I mean not really, because I don't really play Halo like that. You know, I play Halo 1 through 4.
Yeah.
And can't really tell you anything about Halo. Beat all games, can't really tell you what actually happened as far as the storyline went. So I'm not that big of a Halo fan. Halo is cool for what it is. But I think of it in terms of what it means for Xbox. Like,
right. That's more what I meant.
You know, I told you, as soon as that Xbox, showcase came on and I saw Halo, I was already done. I was like, oh my God, you open this up with a whole Halo game. Like, come on now. Let's back away from Halo. I said that Halo should be retired. But as far as like Halo Infinite, my thing is, why even show Halo Infinite? Why even show? The Xbox showcase was just a couple weeks ago. It wasn't even like it was earlier in the year or something like that. It was just a couple weeks ago. So why even show it? Why
they
even
didn't? I think they're reacting to the reaction this game got. I think that's what this is.
My thing is, I'm not gonna fault Xbox for delaying a game, because I don't wait years for games to come out on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna fault them for that. But my thing is, you might as well just delay the Series X coming out as well, because
I was gonna ask that question.
Like, what else are you gonna come out with it with when the Series X, if the Series X drops around the same time that the PS5 drops, and all it is third-party games, I have no incentive of buying a Series X. I'm gonna get the PS5 and I'm gonna get all those games on the PS5. You have to have a reason to make people want to buy your console. So that's my thing. And like Montrell said, I'm also looking forward to Medium. I'm literally gonna get the Series X just to play Medium. But is Medium coming out this year? Maybe not. It may come out at the the beginning of next year. Either way, I think that Halo is such. If Microsoft wants to really tie into Halo like that, and tie Halo is Microsoft, Microsoft is Halo, then Halo Infinite has to come out with the Series X day one. It makes no sense otherwise.
Yeah, I think it's a disaster personally for them. Like, I don't know. It's just like, we don't even know what games are coming. I mean, we probably should, but Halo was it. Like, the fact that Halo was going to be a launch game was all they needed, in my opinion. I didn't really care about the rest of the periphery games around it. And honestly, all the other stuff they've talked about is all small potatoes, frankly. Like, no offense to any of those games, but they're not system sellers, the way Halo is. So it's a bad deal. Like, I don't know, delaying the console is like a legitimate thought to me. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't at this point.
And then it's not gonna matter in the long term. Delaying
it
the console.
won't. No,
delaying the console in a couple months, it's not gonna matter.
Delay it into March or whatever. Like, the Switch launched in March, and that thing's fucking took off. So, like, you can do it. You can release a console in that time frame. It doesn't have to be a holiday thing,
Well, I mean, the PS3 released a whole year later, and they still caught up.
It might be a benefit to them to get away from PS5 now, because, like you said, when consumers are going to go into the store, right, and they're gonna have the option of Xbox Series X and the PS5, and what is going to make them buy an Xbox now? There's besides, like, because Microsoft came out with a statement or whatever, at the same day that this was released, that this was delayed or whatever, and they were basically like doing a lot of lip service about, like, oh well, Halo's not going to be there, but we've got hundreds of games on Game Pass, and we've got, hundreds of games in backwards compatibility that you can play, and then we have this game and this game that are coming, and it's like, you guys are like, clearly this is a problem for you, that you have to come out and tell people all these games that they can play on day one of the Xbox Series X launch. Like, this is bad, you know. So
It's almost like, what have they been doing? I understand completely. Once again, game development is hard. It's almost like, though, what have they been doing for the last 3 years? Not the development companies themselves, the development studios, because they get what they have to get. You know what I'm saying? They pitch what they have to pitch. They got to work what they got to work. But why hasn't Microsoft, over the last 5 years, they could have been doing the Game Pass thing and working on 4 launch titles just in case Halo, wasn't hitting it.
Right.
Like, we could have, 3 or 4. You don't even have to have a first party. It can be a second party or third party game. Like, we don't have to. It can be a timed exclusive. Like, that can save you. But like that I don't know if we're gonna get some more news, in September or something like that, about more games coming out for Xbox Series X that's gonna be exclusive to it. I understand their motto of, like, we want everybody to play games, whether it be from Xbox One to Xbox Series X, and I was on board with that. But now it's like, that can't be the backwards compatibility thing. As much as I love it, and I say to the rooftops, I think that's the greatest thing they've ever accomplished in this game generation, which forced other people to, like, look at backwards compatibility. It forced Nintendo, it forced PlayStation to look at backwards compatibility as it's no longer an option. It's a necessity.
Yeah.
And Xbox did that, but that can't be the only thing progressing your console. I'm not going to buy your console. I can just still play your games with Xbox One. I can buy a PS5, but I'm not going to buy your Xbox Series X until you have something that's like, yo, this looks good on the Xbox One, but you can do this on the Xbox Series X, and it's exclusively made. It was designed for the Xbox Series X. Like, that's what I want. And right now, the Game Pass is not doing it for me. The backwards compatibility is, like I said, it's a huge plus, but it's not a console seller in the way that's like, I want to get rid of my Xbox right now. Like, that's not it. Like, if I had a choice, I would buy the PS5 over the Xbox if they came out right now. Like, I would buy the PS5 hands down right now, and I'm still going to buy the PS5 hands down right now or later on. I think they should just do the PS3 route and just delay it by a whole year. Like, I think that would be the best thing they can do. I mean, or they can do March, but then again, if they do March, what games are coming out in March that can go alongside the Xbox Series X? All we have is 2021. We don't have March 2021. We have 2021. We don't know.
By a year. Is that doable? They could probably pull it off.
They can I think PlayStation do it. If PlayStation can do it with the PS3.
Yeah, right. I was gonna bring that up because the PS3 got delayed, like, literally at, like, the final, like, the 11th hour.
Yeah,
and it was delayed a full year, and it ended up being the right decision, even though that the console had a lot of issues at launch. Like, it would have had even more issues if they had just released it in 2005 alongside the Xbox 360. It probably would have been even worse. So I don't like it. Yeah, because if you think about it, right, if you give 343 another year for Halo, that's probably enough time for them to fix whatever issues they need with the lighting, make the game look a little better, like, change some things around, and then it's definitely enough time for the rest of the studios to start getting some games lined up for launch.
Delay all those games you showed, and they may yes, they can run on Xbox One, but that's not the point. Delay them all the way into the Xbox Series X, and then give me incentive on buying the Xbox Series X. When I walk into the store, I want to walk in, or when I buy it online, I want to click the shop Xbox Series X and in 3 games, because that's every console generation. I do that. I buy the game console and I buy 3 games with it. So I think they should just delay it by a year. Like, that's just my opinion. You was about to say something, Tiara?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, just to go back to Justin's point, I disagree that the other games are small time, because when the Xbox One was, like, announced and Rise Son of Rome was the game, I mean, a lot of people bought an Xbox One for Rise Son of Rome, which actually, it's actually pretty sad, because to me, Rise Son of Rome was it has such great. Actually, it's still a really good game. It's just super short, but it's I think about the things that you could do in a game that was so cool, like with the Connect voice integration. That was so dope. Microsoft has all of these great ideas that, if they would have just stuck with them, they would have been blown Sony out the water. Like, I remember playing Rise. I don't know, did y'all ever play Rise in the room?
No, I like Rise. It was cool. I played
Like,
it.
did you ever play with the Connect voice integration?
Yeah.
Like that shit was dope. Like you call for arrows, like you yourself call for arrows, you yourself call for the tuxedo formation. Like that was super dope. It was like in a different type of immersion. Made you feel like, oh, I'm in the game. I'm controlling this Roman legion. That was pretty dope. Microsoft would have stuck with that. Nothing Sony could have did. Cause what else has Sony done? The touchpad is kind of cool, but other than that, like, what else has Sony done? But I think to myself, that was a game that got a lot hooked in to the Xbox One. So I wouldn't count out these other games like Medium.
Yeah. No, I'm not counting those games out. It's just that I think
they're gonna sell copies. I'm just saying that like they're not on the same level as Halo in terms of moving units. Like, it's like comparing like Zelda. Like if Zelda wasn't there day one for the Switch wouldn't be where it is. Literally would not be where it is in terms of the sales. Those sales numbers that we just read earlier, like they wouldn't be anywhere near that. The fact that Zelda was there sold sold those consoles. Like nothing else would have been close. They had, what did they have? Super Bomberman R, fucking 1-2 Switch. Those games, like, who gives a shit? Those games are like they're literally just games to like fill a launch library, And I'm not saying Medium's that, and I'm not saying some of these other games are that, but they're in between that and Halo and like Zelda, So
right, but what I'm saying is that those people who are excited for Halo, they're already inside of the Xbox like consumer base, just like the people who get excited for God of War.
Are they though? Like think about it this way.
Yes.
Okay, but think about it this way.
Yes, they are. It's like people who play Xbox, they know God of War is a good game, but then they're like, I'm not gonna buy a fucking PlayStation to play God of War. It's the same thing. There's not gonna be a lot of people who's gonna buy an Xbox Series X for Halo Infinite. It doesn't matter how great of a game Halo Infinite is. Like, you need other games to attract people to the console. Yeah. Typically, Halo is part of Xbox. It's been on every Xbox. Like, people who grew up in the system, in the ecosystem, they're like, okay, Halo. Just like God of War for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
But nobody from the opposite team is buying the opposite console for those particular games. It's other games that get people interested in. Oh, well, let me get that game. Like, like for instance, for me, it was Detroit Become Human.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think my kind of point is that they're gonna lose people, not the ones who are like big, like they're like the Xbox like fanboys. They're not going to lose those guys, but they're going to lose people kind of on the fence because they're going to see what PlayStation's got at launch, and PlayStation's got a couple exclusives that are like big deals, and like they're going to go get a PlayStation, and they're like you were talking about earlier, buying both, that's like $1,000. That's not tenable for most people, probably. Even in a 4-month period, that's probably not tenable for most people. So if they buy a PlayStation 5, they're probably not going to buy an Xbox Series X, even if they wanted one at launch. If they buy a PS5, that's kind of what I think is going to happen. Like, I think this game getting delayed is just going to lose them. It's definitely going to lose them a lot of sales. I don't know how big of an impact it's going to have, but it's definitely going to have one. And that's why I think the idea of delaying the console is not crazy. It's not out of the realm of possibility for them. And maybe when they actually show a price finally and give us a price, and they start getting pre-orders in and they're seeing pre-order numbers, maybe that's what will make the decision for them. Because if they're not getting good pre-order numbers, I mean, they might just have to be like, shit, we gotta wait. We gotta wait till Halo's ready. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different ways it could go. They can do a lot of different things with it. They could just stay the course. Maybe there's games they haven't announced yet too that are going to be coming on launch. They did say there are more games they want to show here in the next few months. So we'll see if they do that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bad day for Microsoft. It's been a bad week. It's not a great week. They've had some bad press.
Yeah, I just really
like I said, I don't even know why they even like showed it.
Well, I was talking to Montrell about this. Like, Sony did this with The Last of Us back in last September. They announced the release. They had a whole state of play that was just The Last of Us Part 2, and then they gave a release date for February, and then they delayed it literally a week later, into May. It was like I just
the difference between that one is though people weren't complaining about how The Last of Us looked.
Yeah,
like they were complaining about other stuff, like like the controversy behind how violent it was and all that crap like that. But they weren't complaining about how the game looked. The game legitimately looked bad, and this was the worst reveal for any Halo I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it just didn't look fun at all. I mean, it's a Halo game, so I mean, all that is kind of subjective in my opinion. But like the way it looked, it just it felt very like alpha-ish. Like this is our alpha build. Like I can compare it to like.
Well, at least it wasn't beta.
Yeah, like it looked like the Anthem, right? Like the Anthem reveal. I feel like, but not as far as how like the Anthem reveal actually looked really good. But I'm talking about the background, how everyone felt. I feel like that's how those developers felt. They're like, this is not ready. I don't think we should do this at all. And they just released it, and now we're seeing the fallout for that. I don't know. I just think like my last words is just for this particular subject is I think they should just delay the whole console. They need at least 3 system hitters. They do. Maybe whether it be another Gears of War game or whether it be
please no.
Yeah. Whether it be like Hellblade 2 time exclusive or whether it be
Avowed.
Avowed.
That won't be ready. But.
Yeah, that probably won't be ready. But like whether it be Avowed or whether it be
whatever the initiatives game is.
Not State of Emergency.
State of Decay.
I think State of Decay. If they said that comes
like,
out,
that's a console.
Yeah,
that's a console.
If that game said that comes out this year alongside Xbox Series X, I will buy Xbox Series X for that game.
They said that was a 2021, right?
Yeah, they said that was a 2021 game.
Yeah, because then we got the initiatives game. We don't know what their game is at all. And by the time we get to next year, they'll have been working on it for 3 or 4 years at that point.
Yes.
And then we have Forza, of course. Like that could be I don't know if the one coming out this year is going to be a launch title. They haven't really said.
And that's the problem. They didn't say anything. So that's why I think they should just delay everything. Yeah. Imagine if they delayed this for a year and you got all those games that we just mentioned. Either some way coming out around the time the Xbox Series X release.
Well, launch the console. You don't have to launch the console in November. Like you got to stop being fucking glued to that date. Like launch it in September, like the beginning of September, and then you release all those games that we just talked about over the course of the next 3 months during the holiday season.
Yeah.
You have a couple of them at launch. You launch one more in like October, and then a couple more in November or something like that. Like you space them out. So you give people this like these games you give them enough time to play all of them, because if you drop like 5 at once, like you're gonna hurt the sales of all of them,
Yeah.
But if you do it like in a kind of a phased approach, I think that would be better. But they're not gonna delay it by a year. I think a delay is realistic, but I think the latest they'd go is whenever Halo Infinite is actually gonna launch, which was probably gonna be March or April. That would be my suspicion.
I mean, yeah, that would be a safe bet, but they have to release other games. Like State of Decay has to come around that time. I can't see. I understand. Like I'm in between, like what you and Tiara saying. Like Tiara saying Halo's not a system pusher, and you saying it is. I think now it's not anymore. Like that stream or whatever kind of killed that momentum. And even if it does come out and it looks fantastically better, it's like I don't think it's gonna push as many units as it would if it looked better the first time. So I think Halo, especially with the reputation of Halo 5 in the single player and how that, and then the whole thing of no split screen multiplayer and how that killed Halo almost on the Xbox One.
Did it? Do people even still play split screen?
Well, you can't play split screen co-op on Halo 5.
Yeah,
at all.
it's like literally not even an option.
Yeah, it's not an
But
option.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But do people even play split screen?
Oh,
I think Halo players do.
Halo do, yeah. Halo players do.
That is a long-standing tradition for Halo.
I would not even care if it didn't come with no split screen.
Well, no, I know plenty of people who are like strictly PlayStation people. But they strictly buy. Like one of my friends, my good friends, he buys a Xbox, and him and his brother every generation used to run Halo campaign because it was just so fun.
I did it with my brother as well.
Yeah, and I used to do that with my family when I was with them. Like we used to run Halo campaigns all the time with each other, or just play 4player multiplayer. Like it was just a thing to do. So,
and I have another friend who did it with his brother, and they would play on like what's the hardest difficulty? Heroic,
legendary.
Legendary, yeah. They played on legendary and like beat the game on that. And it was like, so I know plenty of people that was a big deal to. If it's still a big deal to them, I don't know. I mean, even for me, like I don't live near my brother anymore, so I couldn't play split screen with him. I'd love to do online co-op. I don't even know if that's a thing though, with Halo 5. So I don't know.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's not. So
oh, really? It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that is bad. That's a bad look. But I think the game is. I mean, I don't know what sales numbers have been for Halo in the recent releases, like the 343 ones. I don't think they've been that great compared to some of the older games.
Yeah, they're still up there, but if you want to compare them to like Bungie Halo titles, then they're not as good, but they're still up there as far as like top selling Xbox games.
Yeah, but this is their problem. Like I was saying before, the game showcase was like they bought all these studios like 2 years ago and then last year, and it's like they're not showing a lot of the stuff they're doing, and the stuff they are showing is like it's not hitting. The Rare game they showed, and then
I completely forgot about that Everwild.
Yeah, the Rare game they showed, and then like State of Decay 3 is exciting, but it's not coming out till next year. And then Halo Infinite it was exciting could have been exciting for some people, but now it's delayed. It's like, and then they showed Forza. We don't even know if it's coming out on launch. Is it coming out on October 1st and then it's going to be on launch? Like, I don't even know. Is it even this year? Like, is it even coming this year? We don't know. And it's like their messaging has been really poor with some of the stuff, and the fact that some of these studios, like, we don't know when Hellblade 2 is coming. In these games I understand that games need time to be made, but it's like you needed more for the launch. Like Montrell said earlier, just having Halo, you had no backup plan, and now you're kind of exposed because you don't have anything. Like Forza might be the biggest game that comes out on launch, and that's a big game, but
is that coming out on launch? Is that confirmed?
We don't know. That's what I was saying. Their messaging has been like really shaky with this, so I don't know. It's a bad day for Microsoft. We'll see. We got 3 months. We'll see what kind of happens here, but as they roll out more stuff, I mean, those controllers are, I think, almost already being like, they're going to be sold soon, the ones that leaked. That was why they leaked, because someone, like, I think a retailer actually has boxes potentially, so I'm sure we'll see those out there soon. So it's like it might be too late. The ball might be rolling already for launch, and there might not be enough time for them to delay it, but we'll see on that front. So, all right, let's move on. We got a couple more things to get through here. So there was a state of play on Thursday for Sony, and it was a pretty much full third-party state of play. I was going to go through every game, but we've been going for a while, so I'm not going to go through every game. I really kind of just want to talk about highlights that you guys saw that stuck out to you with this.
Hitman 3 on VR.
Yeah. They got a date too, January, right? 2021.
Yes, sir. Guess whose birthday's in January? Mine.
Nice.
But again, we're talking about things that are gonna make people buy stuff. Now, I've been flirting with the idea of getting a PlayStation VR for years. Like, I'm like, is it worth it? Is it worth my money? There's some things that I liked that I thought was cool in the VR, but I mean, right when I saw Hitman on VR, I was just like, man, I never knew I needed something so bad, and I'm going to definitely buy a PlayStation VR, and that's what I'm going to do because I saw Hitman. I'm a big Hitman person. Like, I love Hitman. So Yeah, I'm very excited for that. And that's honestly that game, and then the game that they showed at the end of the State of the Play. I can't even remember what it was.
Godfall.
Yeah, those are the only games that kind of like intrigued me. The rest of them was like a snooze fest, honestly. While while Crash Bandicoot is like, it tugs at the heartstrings, nostalgia, whatever. Um, 28-year-old me does not care about a new Crash Bandicoot game. I never played Crash Bandicoot for the storyline. Didn't even know it had a storyline. So as they were like explaining Crash Bandicoot, I was like, I never even knew this game even had a storyline. Never cared about it. So I still don't care about it. Crash Bandicoot is cool. I like the re-release. The Nitro Team Racing is cool. But we don't need a new Crash Bandicoot game, honestly. Like Crash Bandicoot, at the end of the day, is still a child's game, and
so many people disagree with you. This game's gonna sell a lot of fucking copies.
Yeah, it is.
People can.
This game's gonna sell more than Hitman. I'm gonna put that on the table.
Could be. People be sleeping on Hitman, but all I'm saying is that I just feel like it's still a child's game at the end of the day, and those people who are children did not grow up on Crash Bandicoot.
I think this is targeted towards the older people. I mean, it is a child's game, but
I think it's a nostalgic.
It's definitely a nostalgia trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my game share partner's probably gonna buy it. Honestly, he does stuff like that.
It looks, frankly, to me, it looked pretty good. Actually, I mean, I don't care for these kind of games, but
like I said, I'm not saying it looked bad. It looked like a Crash Bandicoot game. I feel like at the end of the day, graphics can only be so good on those type of games. It was alright. But other than that, I was just thinking about all of the indie games that were being played, or they look like indie games, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so boring. Like, that's the one thing I don't say about Microsoft indie games. Microsoft indie games be kind of good. Those indie games that I was looking at and explaining, I was just like, oh my god, I gotta watch.
All right, I just
40 minutes of these.
Really hard on this. Like,
I don't.
Spelunky 2 was shown. It got a release date, September 15th. That's a big one.
Are you gonna buy it?
No, I'm not into that series, but that's definitely a big one. Now, there were two though that came to mind that were shown for me that were very intriguing. One was The Pathless, which was that game where the person with like the eagle was running around with the bow and arrow and like shooting these things to like run faster, and it seemed like a puzzle game, but it has some combat in it as well. That one looked really cool to me, and then the other one was The Pedestrian, which was a looks like a platforming puzzle game where you're literally like you're like the stick figure person that's on like a bathroom sign running through like signage.
Yeah.
And that sounds interesting to you?
Yeah, that looked really cool. Are you kidding me? Like,
my God.
She was so offended when she said that sounds interesting to you.
Jesus
wow.
Christ. Not every game I play needs to be Ghost of Tsushima. Like,
I mean, I'm just saying. I guess. Well, I guess
that was offensive.
If it satisfies your simple tastes,
Damn, Jesse, you gonna take that?
I don't know what I did to deserve this, man. But she's just taking me down.
I think she's sleepy. I
gotta be sleepy. I have to be like a child. I have to be sleepy. Or, could I just have a refined gaming palette?
I mean, you're starting to sound like the Sekiro boys right now. There's a lot of gatekeeping going on right here.
Hey, difference was we were playing, we were joking.
Yeah, sure you were.
I mean, but you're
Twitter didn't think you were.
Yeah, I know, but you're like the guy on the bathroom sign and you're running through signage. Like, that sounds interesting to you?
Yeah, I mean, it looked cool.
You're also, it's a puzzle platformer. So you're also
a puzzle platformer. You have to move signs around to like go into different environments and stuff. Like it's a puzzle game. I mean, the game's not gonna look like freaking like Ghost of Tsushima. Like puzzle games don't look like that.
I mean, I'm the champion of indie games over here. That's right. So you don't have to tell me, but I'm just saying, like, that game was a snooze fest. I literally dove off in the middle of like the gameplay.
What about Temtem? You Temtem coming to PS5 that didn't do for you? You play Pokemon right now. Come on. This is a Pokemon ripoff game.
All of that was just boring. I told you. Outside of the last game that aired and Hitman VR, outside of that.
I mean, I would argue you're the simple-minded one who just wants action games. That's what it sounds like.
Action games? Do you not know how hard Hitman is? Hitman is not an action game, okay? Hitman is as stealth as it comes.
I mean, there's still action in there.
Well, I like guys.
Montrell, here's what you think were interesting.
So just to kind of back up the VR thing. So everyone knows I've been like super anti VR. Like I just don't think the shit's impressive. But Hitman shit look trash. But the Vader Immortal, woo, that shit look cool. I'm like, man, I might buy VR for that.
You don't have a body. I hate these VR games where you're literally just these disembodied fucking hands doing things. Like, it's so creepy.
But it's an immersion thing. You feel like you're doing it.
I mean, I need to see an arm coming out of the glove. Like, I don't know. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really cool, but I don't think I'm gonna buy VR for it. If VR goes on sale for like maybe $150 or something, I'll buy it. But I think the Crash Bandicoot. I know we had a conversation off mic about platformers, and I'm just like, I'm done with them. I am done with platformers, but Crash Bandicoot 4 looks really good. I might give that a chance, depending on how I feel.
But you're gonna pay $60 for a new Crash Bandicoot game.
I'm probably gonna buy it when it's used. Like, honestly, to be honest with you, when it goes on sale.
$20.
It's $20.
No, when it's 20.
When it's $20. I'd probably buy it when it's 40. To be honest with you, that's how it looks that good to me. I like it. But I'm not gonna buy it. Like, that's not. I'm not running to a PS4 like, oh my, or 5. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get this hit. I gotta get this Crash Bandicoot. Like, I'm not running to that for it. Or I think it's coming out on PS4 actually.
Yeah, it's coming in October. It's gonna be on PS4.
Yeah, so I mean, when it comes on sale, I'll probably buy it. But I wasn't too impressed with Splunky. I honestly couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Tim, I might give that a chance. Now it's on PS5. I might give that actual chance. I know it was $30 on Steam, and I didn't want to play a Pokemon game on Steam for some reason. That just didn't sit well with my spirit. So I'll give Tim a chance on PS5. Yeah. One game that looked really interesting to me was the Hood.
Oh yeah.
But they didn't really show too much gameplay. They showed like little gameplay, but it's
what was the game where it was like you the outlaws?
Yeah,
or whatever?
Yeah.
Well,
it's like it looks like a multiplayer game. And I think it's like you're fighting, like you're a team of 4, and I think you're fighting other teams of 4. That's what it looked like.
Okay,
yeah, but it says it's like PvE, PvP.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I would say. Yeah, I would say I did like that game as well. I did forget.
There are like objectives you have to do, and I think you're competing against other teams to do the same objective. That's what it sounded like.
What it looked like to me was that it's like, a defender type attack type thing. Like one team is defending, one team is attacking, because it looked like the gameplay was like one team was setting up an ambush for another team. So like the PvP versus PvE, or how you say it?
PvP.
PvPvE.
Yeah.
Player versus environment.
Right, but it seemed like to me that like it's like one team, your goal was to look like they were stealing something, and the other team was to like stop them from stealing something. So that's what it kind of looked like to me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm super impressed with Godfall. I'm gonna buy that first day, like as soon as that comes out.
I told you this though. Why the fuck did they have that guy talking over the game the whole time?
I mean, he really didn't. I don't think he took away from the gameplay for me.
I think he did. Like you couldn't even hear the damn game. It was so annoying. I was like, dude, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't care.
He was explaining the game, so that's why it didn't take it away from me, because he was explaining what was going on the screen. So
yeah, but there was never a moment where he stopped. Like he did it the whole time. There wasn't a point where they just showed the game playing. Like it was like, I don't know. It annoyed me, but the game looks good. I mean, the game definitely looks good. I want to know more about the loot system and the like.
I think it's gonna be
stats and stuff.
Diablo-esque. That's what I'm thinking.
I do too, but I want to know like more specifically about it. Like,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know, the actual mechanics of the statistical systems and stuff. So
I am I mean, I know Octodad was kind of fun. I played it and it was really fun. But Bugsnax, what the fuck? Can we stop showing this game? Like, they dedicated a whole 5 minutes to this shit, and I'm like,
you're on the wrong side of Twitter, man. This game blew Twitter up. Every time they show this game, people can't get enough of it.
Really? It looks fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what the game is really. Like
how Tiara feels about Pedestrian, I feel about Bugsnax. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, this shit looks ass. Like, I'm not impressed with this game at all. I don't know the point of the game. I don't know. Is it supposed to be like a Maple Story? Not Maple Story, but Harvest Moon type game? Like, what is this game?
Maybe there seems to be some story involved.
Exactly.
I actually like Harvest Moon.
So.
No, but I like it too. But I'm saying, what is this game? I don't know. Like,
they're totally living off hype right now. Like that, they haven't shown enough to know what the game exactly is yet. You know.
And I mean, I know Anthony's he's listening. He's probably gonna correct me. So Anthony, please text me and tell me what this game is about, because I don't fucking know.
I mean, it looks like a game. There's some sort of exploration element to it where you need to discover these bugs and do stuff with these bugs. But people are eating these bugs and it's changing their body to be the bugs, basically.
Whoa.
Like appendages and stuff. And I don't. And there
so
seems to be.
Why are we eating the bugs to begin with? If the bugs change us into bugs, why are we eating them?
I don't know. There seems to be a puzzle element to the game though, related to the bugs. Like you need to use the bugs to do things as well. So I don't.
Is this like a BioShock type thing where we're eating bugs to be able to?
No,
use...
definitely not. The characters are like anthropomorphic animals, so no. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird looking game. People are really excited about it though, for whatever reason. So
yeah,
Godfall though, I don't know.
Yeah,
that was probably the most exciting one.
Yeah, that one is the most exciting one. Unlike you, Justin, unfortunately, I'm not really excited for the Pathless. I understand it's an indie game. It looks really fucking gorgeous. But the gameplay I was shown,
yeah,
it looks like that traversing, like the main gimmick behind the game looks like that would get boring quick for me. And I'm just like,
Well, I agreed with you there. What they were showing at first, where you were like shooting the square or the like cubes or whatever, and like running faster, I was like, is this the game? Like, when they started showing puzzles and then some of the fights, that was when it started getting interesting. Because it's like the fights seem like they're chase sequences of some sort where you're the one chasing.
Yeah.
And that looks pretty cool. But I'm not like over the moon about this. I'm probably not going to play this game. I'm just pointing out that this game definitely like stuck out for me versus some of the other ones. But
yeah, it stuck out for me. I would give this game a chance based on the price. Like if this was like a $25 game, then yeah, I'm buying it. But
yeah, I would imagine 20 probably.
Yeah, if it's like a $25 game, I'm buying it. I'm gonna give it a chance. The two indie games I were impressed with was Aeon Must Die and Anon. Those games look fucking phenomenal, and I'm a sucker for like side scrolling beat 'em up games. And these two games, one of them looks like a Metroidvania type game, and the other one looks like a straight up Streets of Rage side scrolling beat 'em up game. Yeah. One had like the little anime girl doing like combos in the air and stuff like that. That one looks like the Metroidvania type game. I'm definitely going to give that one a chance. I know that's an indie studio. And then the Aeon Must Die, that one's the Street Fighter or Streets of Rage type game, and that one looks really cool. I like the art aesthetic they went with that game. How it's like cyber not cyberpunkish, like futuristic, but almost like you're in hell. So it's like
there's some demonic elements. The character designs or the enemy designs.
Yeah, so it looks like you're in hell, but it looks like everyone's like also in space. It looks like almost Warframe-ish. That's what I can best compare it to. Another game I'm not really excited for, but it looked pretty cool to me, was Genshin Impact. So a lot of people don't know about Honkai Impact, which is on the mobile games, and it's literally like playing like Bayonetta but on your phone. It's really fucking cool. But it is tied to like a mobile game aspect, and you gotta grind to get certain characters and all this stuff like that. That's the only thing that turned me off of it. So it's great to see that studio is actually having actual game come out, because the The one on the mobile game, like I said, it looks literally, the graphics are really good, and it plays just like Bayonetta, like almost exactly like Bayonetta. When you dodge, you go into witch time, or it slows down time, and you can do crazy combos and all that stuff like that.
Is that co-op though? Is this like a co-op game?
It looks like it's a co-op game.
Yeah, it looked that way. This one did look cool. I didn't get enough of what it is, though.
Yeah, they didn't show enough of it. But I know about the company and how their games play. So their games are very flashy, action combat flashiness, and it looks like this game's gonna kind of take that mantle and put it on a console. So I am interested in seeing what more is gonna come from this game. I thought this was actually a Tales game, to be honest with you.
It's what it looks like, but it kind of looks like a Tales game that's like a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're fighting like a giant wolf creature of some sort. But
yeah.
So I mean, it's coming this fall though, so it's soon.
And then they had auto chess, but I mean, I can just play team fight tactics or auto chess on Dota, so I really don't care about auto chess. But that's pretty much it though for me.
Yeah, that was everything. I mean, we covered pretty much every game. But yeah, I mean, it was decent. I mean, it wasn't like anything crazy, but people were upset because they didn't show any first party games, even though they said they weren't going to show any first party games. Like, people just need to stop with this shit. It's like really getting irritating. They do it to Nintendo all the fucking time. Nintendo couldn't be more clear about what their directs are about, and people still complain that shit's not in the direct. You know, it's like, I don't know. All right, let's move on. We got a couple more here. So Pikmin 3 was this is a Wii U game that is coming to Switch. Nintendo announced there's Pikmin 3 Deluxe. It is going to be coming on October 30th. It is going to be $59.99, and it is going to be a re-release of the Wii U game. So this is continuing the trend of Nintendo bringing Wii U games to the Switch because no one bought the Wii U, and they don't want these games to wallow in, isolation forever. So hopefully this means we're going to get Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Here's my question. How much did that game cost when it came out?
$59.99.
That's Nintendo's problem. First of all, it don't sit right with my spirit paying $60 for a Switch game. And I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that like that too. They're like, especially a release of a
I disagree.
Game.
I don't agree because they used to have different pricing for handheld versus console, and during the Wii generation, their games cost $50 while everyone else's cost is $60, and that went up to $60 with the Wii U, and it stayed at $60 with the Switch. But the handhelds were always like $30, $40, and it was the DS games were all $40. But to me, the Switch, I think the Switch is fully justified charging $60 for their games. Like
I don't think so. I think certain games like Zelda, I get, even Pokemon, honestly. But that's pretty much it, honestly. Like a lot of their games are very
for like third-party games. Like
a lot of their games are very indie-ish, and it's just. I just don't feel like they're worth $60.
I mean, Pikmin 3 is not an indie game. Yeah, it's old, but I mean, it's a first-party game, so.
But it's a re-release.
Yeah, like, this is par for the course.
Did they? It's a re-release, and it's not like you had to upscale the game. You're talking about the Switch. You didn't have to upscale the game. So
they did have to change the game though, because the game was on the Wii U, so it had a different. Like the control scheme was. I'm pretty sure it used the gamepad pretty heavily, and they needed to change the game significantly in order for it to not have a gamepad because the Switch doesn't have that. So, I mean, they put work into this. They're definitely going to put work into this. Whether a 7-year-old game should cost $60, I mean, that's different conversation. But this is pretty much normal for re-releases at this point, from one generation to another.
Yeah, on other consoles. Not the Nintendo one.
I mean, I feel like you're just kind of picking on Nintendo for no reason here. Like their games are quality games. Like why should they have to charge less money for their games? Like
I mean, you know what? Maybe because here I am playing Tetris on my Switch, and I'm just thinking this is like what the Switch is for. I think to myself, imagine if Tetris came out another game and it cost $60.
I mean, they're not. Isn't that Tetris game free?
Yes, and that's what it should be. It should be free.
I mean,
I'm not saying all Switch games should be free, but I really feel like Switch games should cost anywhere between $30 and $40. 40 at the max, and that's it. Because it's not any type of elaboration that goes into Switch games. They're very simple games. Even when they try to port in games that were already on like the PlayStation or the Xbox into the Switch, it doesn't always work. So why should we pay $60? It's like they have to downscale the game for the Switch. So why should we have to pay $60? That's all I'm saying. Nintendo should stick in their lane with the $40.
Well, whatever the case, Pikmin 3 is coming in October, so if you want to spend $60 on that, go for it. Last story is we got a delay. Baldur's Gate 3 was supposed to launch in early access this month, but it is being delayed. They didn't say when, but they said it would be very soon. Larian said that, so I'm assuming September or October probably, but that's early access, so I don't necessarily think the game is going to be out. This has been a weird game, the way they've kind of marketed it. Talked about it, so just note that as well. So all right, that's it. That's all I got. You guys have anything else you want to talk about before we go?
Shoot.
Any other Nintendo games you want to slag, Tiara?
Death to $60 games for Nintendo.
Dang. So you don't think Smash Bros. For $60?
Hell Actually, no. How many times they gonna re-release Smash Brothers?
I mean, they're not re-releasing it.
What is different than the Smash Brothers over the years, other than them adding new characters and new maps and new places to fight?
Mechanical changes that are actually very important to the game's playability. Brawl, Melee, the original Smash, Smash Ultimate, all very, very different games the way they play. Now, I will say Ultimate versus the one that was on Wii U, there's not as much difference there, but there's still some tweaks, and there's a lot more characters in this new one.
I will disagree with you on one game. There are a couple games, but like Xenoblade Chronicles Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition are both worth $60.
Yes.
Like those are like 80-hour plus games.
There's plenty of games that are worth $60 on the Switch.
I will say I think third-party games should be cheaper on the Switch. I don't think they should be $60. I think they should be like $50 or $40.
Well, like Brigandine I was talking about, that game's $50, and that game shouldn't be $50. It should be like $30 or $40 at most.
Outer World should be $20.
No, that's. I mean, yeah, because it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't work very well. I mean, but there's just no way they're gonna do that. So
my thing is they downscale games for the Switch. They have to. That's what I'm saying. So why should these games cost $60 on the fucking Switch? They shouldn't.
Because it gives you the ability to play them portably, where you don't have that on other consoles. Yeah, it's downscaled, but portability? Are you kidding me? Like,
I would rather wait till I got home to play the Outer World on my PS4 rather than portably play it on the Switch and it's trash. So, no, I'm not sure that argument really. Because what's the use of playing it portably if it doesn't work?
I mean, some people are able to tolerate more technical issues than others, though. So,
and then how much portable gaming are you really doing? Honestly, like, how often really on your Switch for real?
I mean, hey, she let you have it today.
I do portability probably 50-50 with the Switch, I'd say.
Do you take your Switch out?
Yes.
I mean,
I'm not going out very much right now, but when I did, yeah, I did.
So you're just like taking it out randomly, going to the gaming?
No, I take it with me to my job and play it on my break. Like,
okay, so that's like an hour or so.
Yeah, but I play it at home. I play it at home portably as well. I'm not always playing it on the TV.
Right, but if you had the option to play the game, then and it looks better, it plays better on a console. You're in your house.
Don't care. Don't care. It depends on the game. I don't like if I don't care about how the game looks, then I would play it on Switch before I'd play it on PS4.
Well, I care about the mechanics and graphics, especially if I've already seen the game, better. It's like going back. It's like watching a program in just regular 1080 when you've been looking at it in 4K the entire.
Mm-hmm.
It's
The only thing I care
nobody's
about
trying to make that adjustment.
The only thing I care about with Switch is performance. If a game doesn't perform well on it, I don't want to play it on Switch.
I mean, but then
not
but that's also what I'm saying. Games.
I mean, I understand, but it's not true of all games on Switch. Like Outer Worlds is one example. Yeah, that okay, sure, but like there's a myriad of other games that play perfectly fine on Switch, and they're perfectly acceptable. So,
I mean, I just don't feel like games on the Switch should just be. Like I said, some games I understand, like maybe first party games, like I think a lot of work Zelda games, but some games I just don't feel like if you have to downscale a game, I don't care if it's portable or not. If it's downscaled, you should down the price. Like I get it for upscaling games, it takes a lot of work. But downscaling it, I have to play it at a lower frame rate, lower graphics, and lower all that. No, it shouldn't be $60. It's like a money grab.
well, most people, I guess, don't care because Nintendo's selling consoles like crazy. So, all right, let's call it there. If you guys like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, subscribe to the show on whatever feed you were listening to it on, and share it with your friends. If you could, please. We are looking to grow the audience. If you'd like to talk to any of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That's the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01. Tiara is at Victorian Jedi. And the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And next week, I have no idea. We'll see what happens. Maybe Microsoft delays the Xbox. That would be great. Or they announce the Xbox Series S. I don't know. Or somebody gives us their price. That'd be great too. We'll talk about any of those things if they happen. I doubt it though. At this point, I don't think any of it's going to happen. So we'll see. All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you on the next one.